Every summer, the same ritual. You find the sunscreen. You apply it to every exposed surface. You miss a spot on your shoulder. You spend the next 3 days regretting it. Sunscreen is so embedded in modern life that most people treat it as simply a necessity, something the human body requires to survive exposure to the sun, something that, without it, skin would burn and damage and eventually develop cancer at alarming rates. But ancient humans spent their entire lives outdoors, every single day, under the same sun, without sunscreen, without shade structures, without UV protective clothing. And the evidence suggests they were fine. Not just fine, their skin handled sun exposure in ways that modern human skin frequently cannot. And the reason why tells you something surprising about what your skin was actually designed to do, and what modern life has done to its ability to do it. To understand why ancient humans didn't need sunscreen, you first need to understand what sunburn actually is, because it is not simply the sun burning your skin the way heat burns paper. Sunburn is an immune response. When ultraviolet radiation from the sun penetrates the outer layers of your skin and begins damaging DNA and skin cells, your immune system detects the damage and triggers an inflammatory response. The redness, the heat, the tenderness, these are not the damage itself. They are your body responding to the damage, attempting to repair it, sending blood and immune cells to the affected area to clean up and rebuild. The damage that triggers this response comes specifically from UVB radiation, the shorter wavelength ultraviolet light that doesn't penetrate deeply but interacts intensely with the surface layers of skin. Your skin has a defense against UVB. It is called melanin. Melanin is a pigment produced by specialized cells in your skin called melanocytes. When ultraviolet radiation hits your skin, melanocytes respond by producing more melanin, darker pigment that absorbs UV radiation before it can reach and damage DNA in deeper skin cells. This is what a tan is, not aesthetic, not cosmetic. A biological UV shield produced on demand by your own body. The process is ancient. Melanin as a UV protection mechanism predates humanity by hundreds of millions of years. It exists in fungi, in bacteria, in squid ink, in the feathers of birds. It is one of the oldest biological solutions to the problem of solar radiation that evolution has ever produced. Human skin, calibrated for the environments our ancestors lived in, produces melanin in direct response to UV exposure. The more UV exposure, the more melanin production, the darker the skin becomes, and the more protection it provides against further damage. The system is self-regulating, self-reinforcing, designed for exactly the kind of constant, daily, lifelong sun exposure that prehistoric humans received. A prehistoric human living in sub-Saharan Africa, where our species spent most of its evolutionary history, received intense UV radiation every single day from birth. Their skin's melanin response was calibrated from infancy for this environment. By the time they were adults, their skin had decades of cumulative melanin production behind it. The baseline level of protection was high. The adaptive response was fast. The system worked. But melanin production is not just about genetics. It is also about consistent activation. The melanin system, like most biological systems, requires regular use to function at full capacity. A skin that receives consistent UV exposure maintains consistent melanin production. A skin that is rarely exposed to UV, that spends most of its time indoors, covered by clothing, protected by sunscreen, loses the stimulus for melanin production. The system atrophies. And when that skin is then suddenly exposed to intense UV radiation, it has neither the baseline melanin protection nor the rapid adaptive response that consistent exposure would have maintained. This is why people who spend most of the year indoors burn severely on the first sunny day of summer. Not because the sun is stronger, because their skin has lost the conditioning that would have protected it. There is another dimension to this that most discussions of sunscreen miss entirely. Sunlight does not only damage skin, it also produces something essential inside it. When UVB radiation hits the skin, it triggers a chemical reaction that converts a cholesterol compound in the skin into vitamin D3, the active form of vitamin D that the human body uses for bone density, immune function, mood regulation, cardiovascular health, and dozens of other critical processes. Vitamin D deficiency is now one of the most common nutritional deficiencies in the developed world. Researchers estimate that over 1 billion people worldwide have insufficient vitamin D levels. The consequences: increased susceptibility to infection, impaired bone density, disrupted mood and sleep, elevated risk of certain cancers, are significant and well documented. Ancient humans were not vitamin D deficient. They couldn't be. Daily sun exposure ensured constant, reliable vitamin D production. Their bones were dense, their immune systems were robust, Their mood regulation had a consistent biochemical foundation. Sunscreen, applied consistently, blocks the UVB radiation that produces vitamin D alongside the UVB radiation that causes sunburn. The same rays, the same wavelengths. You cannot block one without blocking the other. A person who applies high SPF sunscreen every time they go outside and then spends most of their time indoors is systematically preventing their skin from producing the one nutrient that skin was specifically designed to manufacture. Ancient humans didn't need sunscreen for the same reason they didn't need glasses. Not because they had some biological advantage that modern humans lack, but because they lived in the environment their biology was designed for. Consistent, lifelong, daily sun exposure from birth maintained a melanin system that was always primed and responsive. Skin that never stopped producing melanin never lost the ability to produce it rapidly when needed. The protection was always there because the stimulus was always there. Modern humans removed the stimulus. We moved indoors. We covered our skin with clothing. We built cities where the majority of time is spent in artificial light. We created a world where many people go entire weeks without significant sun exposure, and then spend a weekend at the beach wondering why they burned. Sunscreen is not a solution to a biological problem. It is a workaround for an environmental one. The skin is not defective. It is not randomly failing to protect itself. It is a system that was designed to receive a consistent daily input, solar radiation, and respond to it dynamically. Remove the input and the system loses its calibration. Your skin was not built to hide from the sun. It was built to live in it, to receive it daily, to adapt to it constantly, to produce both protection and essential nutrients from it in an ongoing biological conversation that has been happening between human skin and sunlight for 300,000 years. Ancient humans never needed sunscreen because their skin never stopped talking to the sun. The melanin system was always active. The vitamin D production was always running. The protection was built in, not applied from a bottle. Every hour you spend outside is an hour your skin receives the signal it was designed to receive. Every hour indoors is an hour that signal goes missing. Your skin is not broken. It is just waiting for something it used to get every single day.